too long ago.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful edition of the Mack Brothers podcast. Today, we have our most honored and one of our most distinguished guests, probably the most distinguished man we've ever met.
Good Lord.
Drum roll.
Danger Bravo, everybody.
Scott Danger Bravo.
Hey.
Oh, here, I'll give you a cheers. It's noon, right? It's early. It's late enough to start drinking.
Yeah.
This is vodka, Scott. Don't worry.
I'll keep the label out of there. I know how things work now. I've been on TV enough.
We don't have enough subscribers where it matters yet. So what are you drinking?
I am drinking a Captain Lawrence Hop Commander IPA.
So
it's mild. It's a good breakfast beer. It's only 6.5, so you don't get too.
Some of our sponsor of the podcast is actually a local brewing company. So
Nice.
We'll put you on to them. They're called East Island Brewing Club. We'll talk about more of them a little bit later. But
sure.
Scott, how you been, man?
Good. I mean, it's tough out there for a musician, but what can you do but keep going, right? How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good.
I haven't seen you guys in forever. You don't age.
I'm happy about that. Thank you.
Maybe in here, but on the outside, you guys look exactly the same. Like I saw you.
You know, we just live such a stress-free life.
That's what it is. No stress. Keeps you looking young.
Yeah, no stress. And John, what did you say? You took off the tracksuit?
I said I don't fit in the tracksuits anymore. I got to buy new ones.
Scott, I see you. So I guess first we should say, like, we met Scott a while back, you know, just playing gigs. We hopped on a card with him one time up in New York. Scott's from New York. And boy, we had such a great time. And we played shows with him after. So he's been a good friend of ours for a few years now.
Yeah.
So Scott, what kind of music? I don't know if you want to get into it, but
real quick,
John, go ahead. So
I've heard Scott describe himself, and I've heard other people describe him as sloth style.
Yes,
and it's very interesting that we know someone who created their own brand of guitar. Yeah, we have mascots too.
That's a good point, Jeff.
I love it.
But explain sloth style and how you invented it.
Okay, so there's a couple distinctive types of guitar playing. There's what's called flat picking, which is using a pick. You guys see that? Okay, so you would strum like Jack Johnson would be a flat picker. And then you have finger picking, which is where you use all your fingers, all of them. You're like Andy McKee or Tommy Emmanuel. And then I figured out early on I can't do on my fingers for whatever reason. So I used a pick, and my friend Michael said, "Why don't you try working in a couple fingers?" And I said, I'll try the middle finger. So I just ended up using these two fingers and my thumb, which is like, you know, a sloth has 3 fingers. So I just called it sloth because I play a slower style too. So I just called it sloth style.
Has it
I like that.
Been sloth style, or like, did you coin that term?
I coined that term because the sloth was my favorite animal, because they don't care about anything. They just want to sleep and eat, and that's it. And that's very similar to myself. So I thought, hey, they've got 3 fingers. Well, some have 2, but they've got 3 fingers. I use 3 fingers. There we go.
Now
that's fucking rad.
We've played enough shows where I think I've seen you combine finger picking and using a pick at the same time.
Yeah.
So is that sloth style like sus? Like
it's always sloth style. I don't have to be using any combination of the 3 remains sloth style.
John, it's his style. He could do whatever he wants with it.
I think it's safe to say sloth style live is fucking mesmerizing.
Well, thanks.
And,
it really is.
Like usually it's crazy that you bring we played generally rock shows, and anytime we were on a card with Scott, whether it was his card or our card, I mean, the whole crowd just, it's like you put a trance on the whole venue. So
Well, thanks.
It's really like how you captivate people's attention is kind of it's something to see.
Well,
So,
this style still is sort of underground. There's not a lot of big names. Like I guess Tommy, but Tommy's fans are all older, and there's Andy, and Andy's fans are younger. So there's still this sort of disconnect between this style and it's not a familiar style, you know. So when people see it, they're like, "What am I looking at here?" You know.
yeah, no, and I think too, like the not just the style, the creative end, like what is I gotta figure out. I gotta go on my Spotify. My favorite Scott Bravo song might be "Remittance Man."
Okay. Well, you're the first person to say that.
I love it.
Great.
It's captivating. It's really great for a nice car ride. But you released a new single. Where the fuck is that? The Syracuse Problem.
Yeah.
So talk about that.
Is there like a story behind that title?
Yes. Have you seen the video?
I have not.
Okay, so do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll send you a bootleg copy of the video. It's not out yet. It's not out till March.
How would I have seen it then?
I wasn't sure if I sent it to you. I sent it to you guys or not. You got to remember, I'm getting old, man. This lot of cobwebs and rat chewed wires up here. So I'll send it to you. The Syracuse problem is a math problem called the Collatz conjecture. The Collatz conjecture is an unsolvable problem. It always resolves back to one, so that you can't solve it. So I was writing this song, and it was about a problem that I have that I just could not. I have very few problems that I haven't resolved, and this was one of them. And I wrote this song sort of in the depths of depression of it. And I was looking for a name, and I thought, I'm from Syracuse. I'm kind of a Syracuse problem. This is an unsolved, so I just named it that. And the video, I don't want to give too much away about the video, but it's essentially I'm being haunted by this problem until I go to the venue where this problem cannot follow me. Because you guys know when you're on stage, the world could be on fire outside those doors, and it's like nothing. It doesn't matter,
That's definitely true.
It's a very cool. I think it's a cool video. I don't think anything has been done like this in this genre before, and it was professional. There was like a 7, 8 person, 10 person crew. It was a big deal. And I've got a new song coming out the 10th called "A Stealthy Mess."
Oh, I think I seen you playing that on Instagram somewhere.
Yeah, I'm the head of the label guy is like, will you promote your song more and stop messing around on TikTok? So stop arguing with people on TikTok and promote your music.
I'm not gonna lie though, like I see your TikToks like every day. Like every single day I see your TikToks.
Which page?
I don't know there was 2 pages. I think I might follow the 1 page. Man down.
I was lost my iPad, yeah.
I think I'm not sure if I follow the right page then.
There's a page that's for my music, and then there's a page for my horrendous behavior. And that's
I think I might follow your horrendous behavior page.
Definitely the horrendous behavior.
But you would go live on it. But you would go live on that page and still play guitar. So I thought it was.
So that's the real page. The other page you want to follow is the Scotty Brobs or Scotty Brobs.
Oh, I gotta follow Scotty Brobs.
You gotta follow
sure.
that. Yeah, that's where I clap back. I'm in a lot of trouble on that page. I'm in a war right now on that page. So
listen. There's been a few times where I see your TikToks and I'm like, oh, I gotta join Scott. We gotta gang up on these fuckers.
Yeah,
they come hard. On the other page, it's worse. I did a video about the Passport Bros, and boy, did they all come for me at once. I mean, it was like,
what are the Passport Bros?
You haven't heard of this?
No, what are the Passport Bros?
I mean, I don't even know if I want to drag you guys into this. We can talk about it. It's essentially a group of men that go overseas. They complain about the women here are too, whatever. And then we're going to go over and they flash their passports and we're going to go to Colombia and find a wife. And I made a video saying, you're going to go to Colombia and get your head chopped off. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And people came at me, making it a race thing and all kinds of just like utter nonsense. It was bad. It was bad. It's still bad because it's not.
John,
once you put a video up, it doesn't go away.
So,
John, I think as of right this moment, I don't know if you know this, Scott. Me and John have a banned list.
Yeah.
all the Passport Bros are banned from the
Oh
Mack
yeah,
Brothers
we have
podcast.
on the
They're
podcast.
banned.
We have a banned list.
Yeah, they're banned. They're not allowed on
banned.
anymore.
Yeah.
We banned them.
They're just, it's like, it's just, it's so, and I got offended because they were talking about Colombia. And I don't know if you guys know, I've been to Colombia twice in the past 3 months. I've gone down there and performed. I got the Colombian flag tattooed on my wrist. Like, I love Colombia. So when people start talking about how they're going to go and they're going to abuse women there and they're going to take advantage of women, yeah, I get upset because these are people that were so kind to me and they've been through so much. The women there, I did a performance at a place called Centro de Memoria y Paz de Reconciliación, which is the Center for Memories and Reconciliation. And the stories I heard, man, from these women, it's like so heartbreaking. So to watch a bunch of guys going, I'm going to go to Colombia and get a wife that doesn't speak English and submissive. And it's like,
It's
so
like this Andrew Tate wave of men.
They're the same. Yeah, they're the same ilk, Myron and Jordan Peterson and that ilk.
Well, Jordan Peterson and his whole family's banned. We already did that.
Yeah, they're already banned.
We banned Andrew Tate.
We're not going to worry about him for a while.
Yeah. We also banned the likes of Willow Smith. The whole Smith family, I think, is banned, especially Jada Pickett.
Being a rebel.
Who else, Matthew? Who else did we ban?
We banned Pope Benedict.
Yeah, Pope Benedict's banned.
Right before he died, we banned.
I was going to say,
yeah. Oh shit, that's right. The day after he died on New Year's Eve, we filmed the podcast on the 30th. And we were
so
like,
upset.
You're banned.
That was a bold stance to ban Pope Benedict. I'm proud of you guys.
Listen, man, he covered up too many rapes. Fuck him.
I mean, that was my point too. When they tried to make it a racing about the Passport Bros, I said, you can criticize people's behavior. I said, what if all child molesters were of one race? Could you not criticize child molesters? It's like, that's an insane take to say you can't criticize somebody's behavior because the majority of the people doing it are one group or another. Like, that's not, racism means something. And when you take meaning away from that word, you're going to kill that. No one's going to care about that word anymore. Like, no one's going to care about being called that word if it just doesn't mean anything anymore. So that was what I was trying to get across too. And it's like, and of all people to hurl that at me, like, come on, dude. So it was frustrating to say the least, and hurtful, if I'm honest.
It's internet garbage, man. It brings out the worst in people when they're arguing. They can't have civil debate.
I just block now. If somebody comes on trying to talk that nonsense, because there's no defense to that, right? Somebody hurls the R word at you. There's no defending it. You just got to go block. I'm not dealing with this. So that's what I've done. You can turn off comments. The internet's, they've really caught up now to what's going on. You can turn off comments, block people. Pretty neat.
There's tools. You just got to make sure you use them.
Right, and not say something that you can't recover from. So
yeah.
That was a trap I fell into in the past. Oh yeah.
It's rare that that an internet tough guy is actually a real tough guy. But Scott, I think you pull it off.
I keep giving out my address to people. I keep saying, oh, well, here's where I'll be playing, and here's where I live. And my friends are like, are you out of your mind? The other day, I told the guy, I'll be at open mic on 29th and 2nd. And my friend goes, they're not going to come to fight you. They're going to come stab you, dude. Like, it's not going to be one dude. I was like, oh, yeah. But I'm trying
that's a good point.
I'm trying to be calmer. And I'm from this, I know this sounds funny, but like, I'm a street kid. You guys know how it is. Like, you can't just say whatever you want to me and I'm going to run away from you. Like, we can meet outside if you want to. But I'm 44 now. I got to cut this shit out.
No, they say you got to cut it out at 45 though, so you got a little bit more time left.
A couple more good months.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna write some 25-year-old that's gonna clean my clock and put it on YouTube.
Hey, John threatened to shove a whole other band inside of their own trunk if they touched his guitar not too long, like a few years ago. So John's matured since then too.
They got in the fucking car and drove off.
John, I told that story the other day. I was like, John really did threaten to shove this guy in the trunk.
The whole band. First you and then you.
I was drunk and I couldn't tell if he was joking. It was after a gig, and I didn't like the band anyway. Like, they were snobby. They were like the New York elite people,
right?
And it was a big gig too. It was the 2300 arena, in South Philly, which is like where the big wrestling places are at. And it was a nice sized gig, and they were the headliner, but they just rubbed me the wrong way. And we were outside putting the shit back in the cars, and the guy said to me, "Oh, that's a nice guitar. I wish I had that." And I said, "Touch it, and I'm gonna put you in your own trunk." And then
And he meant it. He meant it.
know.
I was standing right next to him, trying not to be like, John, what the fuck? So I think it actually made me unintentionally look more like I'm also going to fuck this guy up, because
Right.
I looked a little upset, but I was just like, John, why are you like, we're good with these guys. They're not trying to do anything. But
Right.
I was like that towards John. I was probably standing there like, yeah, motherfucker, we're going to shove you in a trunk if you don't, you better listen to what he said. So yes, I guess
That's an odd threat too. Like it's a very like Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo's in his 50s, and he just a couple years ago threatened to throw a guy down a set of stairs. So it's like maybe it's an Italian thing, maybe it's a street thing. I don't know what it is, but I don't think you ever grow. I don't think you ever, if you live in that environment where you have to defend yourself or you get it worse. I don't think that ever leaves you. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
you can push it down, but I think it's always going to be in there. You know.
You know, I wish this is to go in another direction, but sometimes we do this on the podcast. I wish someone had the Cuomo or Trump balls, the balls that they have, but were actually like good people that wanted to do good things for like improve people's lives legitimately. Because I feel like that's a much better way to handle things rather than be like, oh, we're just everything's rainbows and sunshines. I feel like it'd be much better to be like, no, we're gonna tell people or we're gonna throw you down the steps. Like I feel like that's a much better way to get things done.
Well, the thing is, you never rise to that level if that's your personality, because they don't want people like that at the top level. So if you're going to be a reporter that's going to say to the president, "What are you out of your out of your tiny pea brain?" You know, you're never going to make it to the press room.
Yeah.
You know?
What a shame.
Right. True. Yeah.
What a shame. I appreciate the chaos of like sometimes of our modern society. Like if you could somehow maintain a distance from it and you could try and look at it, you're like, this is crazy. Like every day is crazy.
Well, that was George Carlin's thing. George Carlin said, I'm not even involved anymore. I'm just going to stand back. And it is kind of funny when you watch everybody acting like a toddler. You know, it is kind of funny to go, listen, you live in Philly, I live in New York. It's always going to be what it is. And it's just sort of like, all right, eat yourselves. I don't care. You know? Yeah, I get it.
I actually don't live in Philly anymore.
Where are you now?
I bought a house in Delaware County.
You bought a house? What are you, like an adult?
I'm an adult, kind of.
Jeez. How many bedrooms you got?
What is it? Three.
John, yeah, I think you have 3 bedrooms. Why don't you tell me?
I'm in one of them. So I can account for one right now.
That's incredible. Bought a house.
Thank you. There's a great Mitch Hedberg joke. Any room could be a bedroom.
That's right. That's right. He wasn't something. Why is there a bed near the stove or something like that?
Yeah.
At the valid point. Yeah.
Mitch Hedberg was funny.
Bedroom house, no kitchen.
You know, I was just watching Joe Rogan talk about he was with Louis C.K. I think, and they were talking about comedians and comedy and all this, and I just don't think he's funny at all.
Which one?
Joe Rogan.
He's not funny. Have you ever seen his comedy?
I watched like 15 minutes of a stand-up special, which I think John with you, and his stand-up sucks.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. It's god awful. I don't know why these guys think they're comedians. There's a couple guys like Joey Diaz too. I don't think he's funny either. I don't think he's.
I never. Louis C.K. is my favorite comic.
Him, Bill Burr. Bill Burr's great.
They're great. Yeah, great. I love Bill Burr.
Cat Williams, I think
Cat Williams is so fucking funny, man.
And funny in so many ways.
Yeah, he's great in movies too. What's that? You ever seen it? I don't know what the movie is, but that scene where the girls visiting him in prison and she's a white baby.
Mountain of Caucasus.
I don't think I know the movie. I don't know if I've seen that one.
I don't know the movie either.
No, but he's just like, I know a white baby when I see one.
He blames it on the guard behind him.
Yeah. Very funny.
He's a genius. But yeah, Louis C.K. and Bill Burr are probably. There's a new guy, Mark Harmon. He's a New Yorker. He's really funny. Anthony Jeselnik. Anthony Jeselnik is pretty funny.
Yeah, Jeselnik's great.
I don't know how he's still alive. I don't know how he walks outside after a show.
I actually love John Mulaney.
John Mulaney, he was funny before he got rich. I've always said that once comedians get rich and successful, they're not funny anymore.
Like,
There's only a few exceptions to the rule.
A few, yep. His early stuff was New in Town, like that. That was like
excellent,
unbelievably funny. And then the last, what was he doing? Prancing around on stage, wearing a suit, talking like he was from the 40s. I was like, what am I watching? But he's generally brilliant.
I actually went to the Kimmel Center to see that show.
Oh, was he funny? Was he funnier than
I thought it was funny. I enjoyed it because he has like even though that's his shtick, I mean he lives a fucking wild fucking life.
Yeah,
I mean like he went on a cocaine binge, got divorced, started dating a supermodel, got the supermodel pregnant. While he was fucked up, he wanted to. He's like one of the biggest names in stand up, and he asked Seth Meyers if he could be a writer for the Late Show because he was fucked up and he needed stability. Like he lives a rock star life.
Yeah,
and then now he's clean and he's
pussy.
He's still funny because he had a great set about his like 15-minute like thing about his drug dealer, about how he found out that his drug dealer wasn't actually ever a drug dealer, but he became one because he thought John Mulaney was so nice and he didn't want John Mulaney to get a bad set of drugs. So he became a drug dealer just to John Mulaney because he's friends with him.
A saint if there ever was one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good friend.
If you think it's funny, I'll give it another shot. Same thing happened to Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer was hilarious, then she got famous, and I love a good.
I like Tim Dillon.
Amy Schumer now is just a shit stain. Just to be, she stinks.
Banned. Now we're banned from her podcast. She's banned from yours. See what you did there?
I don't know if I'd want to even go on her podcast anyway, even if I wasn't banned. I think I would say, nah, I'm sorry. This could make my career Amy, but I'm not doing that.
That's the only reason I want a record deal from some certain labels is so I can go, no, thank you.
You know who I want to turn down? You know, I'd love to turn an opportunity down from, which I wouldn't, but I would love to be at the point where I could. Ellen. You know what I mean? Like if Ellen was like, yo, you want to be on my show? I'd be like, of course, Ellen. Thank you. You're the best person I've ever met.
I thought you were going to say a record label. Ellen.
No, I don't know. I don't even like, unless you're like super famous already, I don't even know why you'd sign with a record label.
Right.
I don't even know what the point is anymore of signing with a record. What? So they could just take all of your money? Let
me get you guys' opinion on this. I'm of the mind that when I see my friends trying to sell their music, sell it like on CD, I feel like, nah, I feel like we've moved past trying to sell music and we should be focusing on trying to sell merch, because the idea of the amount of work you're going to put in to get somebody to buy your music and they're not going to pay very much for it, right? Because they can get music for free, but they are going to pay for your t-shirts. You can sell your t-shirts for $15 a piece and they cost $4 to make. So there's much more money to be made on the merchandise side. I've sort of accepted that music is free now. I've sort of accepted that, and I'm leaning into other ways to make money. Do you guys think that there's any reason to try to continue to make CDs, LPs, physical music?
No, I completely agree. We when we were with the 1940s, we made a lot of CDs that we were just going to give out at shows, and it was just counterproductive. 'Cause now there's 50 Marconi EP CDs like sitting right behind me. You know what I mean? Like they're just collecting dust. That's one of the reasons why we started the podcast, because I think the best way now to get people to be interested in your music or your merch is to be interested in you as a person.
Right.
You're buying into the people. You're not buying into just the music anymore. You know what I mean? With the way social media is now, there's very few bands. They were already big that cannot have a presence like we have to. You know what I mean? Like Kings of Leon aren't going to go making a podcast because they don't have to. But you know, you doing what you're doing with TikTok, us doing a podcast, that's just a new way of promoting now.
Right. Right, because I have musicians that will fight with me on this. And it's like, where are you putting a CD? Nobody has CD players in their car. They're not listening to music at home because they've got kids, a spouse, So they're not sitting. Who's sitting around listening to music? The only place they're listening to music is when they're driving with their phone or when they're in the gym.
Yeah.
So to print a CD or a record is even, that blows my mind even more. It's like, who the fuck has a record player?
I feel like you got to be like a super, like once you hit a certain level as an indie band, that's the
Right.
only time it's worth it. And
Right.
even then, like you do a limited print vinyl and you
Right.
print like
When
50
people
and
are
you bring them to
gobbling
your
up whatever
show.
you put.
Yeah, because you're like, all right, I have 500 people coming to this venue. At least 20 people here have vinyls, have listened to records recreationally. Like it's a very low percentage, and then that's what you print based on that number. But that's if you've gotten to that point as like a artist on the lower tier of things now, as far as attention and revenue and all that stuff. Yeah, I think it's counterproductive to be like, I'm going to go sell my CD on the corner. People aren't even on the corner anymore anyway, because
Right.
no one wants to get shot. So everyone's in their house. So
I know Philly is wild. I've been hearing stories.
it's hard. Viral marketing, viral in-person marketing is really tough. It has to be like smart and targeted. Like, I don't think we could book like 15 gigs in the city and like just try to build a wave of popularity, because that's just not how they listen to discover things anymore.
Are you guys still playing out in Philly? You guys still doing shows?
Selectively. We actually have a gig coming up in well, we didn't release the date yet, but we might as well do it. What's the difference? March 25th at the Grape Room. We're
nice.
playing. I don't. Have you ever been to the Grape Room?
I've never been there. I've tried to get in there. Philly's a tough town to get in if you're not from Philly. Like Philly, Chicago. If you're not from there, they don't want to hear from you unless you're going to sell the room out or you rent the room. So Philly's a tough town to get into. But I've heard of the Grape Room.
Yeah, we're playing there. We love the Grape Room, and we're actually we're kind of transitioning musically. It's kind of going to be a surprise, but we're kind of changing from like the rock music to a little bit something different. Actually, it might be something that we can get you maybe on a song.
That'd be great.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Anything you guys need ever, you just let me know. It's fine. I'm more than happy to do it.
Same
How many?
here.
What's that? A 300-seat room? It's a big room.
I don't know. It's probably like 200.
It's a good size. Is it the same? I thought it closed. Is that the same? It did not close. What am I thinking of? World Cafe? Something closed out there.
You might be thinking World Cafe Live for 300-seat room, because they have that's a decent sized venue. We've played the upstairs in World Cafe Live, which is a smaller room, but still it's a pretty good sound in that room.
I'm like, give me 40 people sat down for the rest of my career. If every room I played was 40 to 80 people and I filled it, I'm done. That's enough for me. 300 people. If I walk out on stage and there were 300 people, and I would go backstage. I'd be like, I can't do this. Like, that's too many. There's no way they're all out there wanting to see me. Like that. I couldn't wrap my head around that. I couldn't do it.
That's what I think 300 would be a really nice place for me and Matthew.
Yeah.
Every gig. Hopefully more, because now that I have a little bit of money, I like money. So
that's a
you
good
guys
point.
can rent. You can. I'm going toward renting rooms too, because that way they can't cancel the gig, and I don't have to worry about bringing anybody. If nobody comes, it's on me. So that's where I'm sort of leading to, is renting rooms and then getting other bands to come and play.
how much is like a couple hours to rent your average room?
It depends. There's a place in Boston called the Lily Pad. It rents for $200 for 3 hours. There's a place in Pittsburgh called Black Forest Coffee, and it rents for $400, but it's a huge room, and that's all day, I think. So you could probably get a good sized room for 4 or 5 hours for $300-400. But then you charge $20 on a ticket, and you put 100 people in the room. Bada bing, bada boom. You make a little profit.
Yeah,
It's a good idea.
Yeah, all my ideas are good ideas.
you know something that's a total scam. When the promoter gives you the tickets and they're like, yeah, you got to sell. The first 25 we take like 90% of. Like you get
That's
$1 each ticket. I hate that. It's that's I think that's what turned me and John off also partially to doing it, because it's like we've hustled so hard for so many gigs, and we feel like we came away with like nothing because the promoters just took all the money.
Every gig we've played besides maybe one or two, and we've played a good amount. We had the most people there. Besides in Philly, I should say, in Philly, we've brought the most people. We've attracted the most interest, the most foot traffic, and then just because and like the headliner because they know the promoter's getting paid more still. Like it's just like, so fuck that. We only play the gigs we want to play because we like the people we're playing with.
Right. Well, that's the thing too, is like I love that being an artist has sort of, people are going to have to love it more because now there's not as much money out there. There's not as many opportunities. So if you want to pursue this as what you do, you're going to have to love it enough to starve to do it. And it's like, I'm very lucky. I have a really good day job. So I don't have to play shows I don't want to play. I can rent venues. But I'm not, a lot of people are going to quit. They're not going to be able to survive in this environment. And especially the environment where nobody cares what you're doing. Like you really have to love what you're doing. To get on stage these days. And I like that, but I wish that people like music more. I'd like to see both of those things where people were more adventurous in as far as what they want to go see, unfamiliar bands and whatnot. I'm off for 2 weeks, by the way. I have 2 weeks off in March. It's the last 2 weeks. So I'm probably going to come out to Philly and do some open mics, get a Motel 6 room and have a real good time. So
that sounds like a good time. Probably if you do an open mic near us, maybe we could stop by.
Yeah, but swing by John's house, one of those empty 2 bedrooms he's got over there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just don't mind all the well, it's not all, but one of the bedrooms is just a cat room. So
how many cats?
Just 2.
Just 2. Yeah, that's not enough cats. I wish I could have 5 cats. That's the thing too on TikTok. People are like, "Oh, these women are going to end up old cat ladies." I'm like, "What the fuck's wrong with cats?" Cats. What are you saying?
Yeah, leave the cats alone, man. They're cool.
I'm a cat over dog guy, which is not popular.
Yeah.
I don't like. I manage enough people in my day job to where I don't want to manage other things when I get home.
Right. A needy dog. Like my cats, you guys have met Mike. Did you meet Vita?
I don't remember the names, I'll be honest. We met a couple.
I feel like I met 2 cats.
I have 2 cats. I have Lulubelle, the fat one, and I have Vita, the dumb one. And
we met the fat one.
The fat one, yeah.
John, it sounds like me and you when we were kids.
Who's who?
I don't know. I don't know.
She's getting older and it makes me very sad. But if you take your cat and you hold them up against a wall, if they put their feet out, they're smart. Vita will not put her. I could smash Vita right into the wall. Not that I would, and she'll just turn her head and meow. She's just not very she's not smart at all, and it breaks my heart. But Lulubelle is very smart.
The gears are not turning up here.
So Scott Bravo invented sloth style and a litmus test for cats.
An intelligence test for cats, and she always looks like this.
I'm gonna start asking. I'm gonna start asking. I'm gonna start asking Shannon. That's my fiance. I'm gonna start asking her. Did you do the Scott Bravo litmus test on on the cats? She's a veterinarian. That's why. Did you guys do that in the office? Okay. Well, yeah. Of course, it's a smart cat.
Listen, let me know what she says because I didn't invent this, but I heard this somewhere. I'm telling you, she's probably going to agree that if you put a cat up against the wall, they should put their feet out, and if they don't, they're just not very smart.
That reminds me of one of my favorite George Carlin jokes when he goes, "Now you tell if your kid's smart or not. You take your kid, you leave him on the corner." You come back a week later, if they're still there, you got yourself a dumb fucking kid.
If they're not there, he was a genius.
Yeah.
He was the best. He's my favorite ever.
We put him in our Mack Brothers Hall of Fame on the podcast.
He wouldn't have survived these days. He wouldn't have been anything these days. You can't say any of that shit anymore. Even The Office. You guys watch The Office?
Nah.
We were just talking about the fact are we the only 2 people on Earth that haven't seen The Office?
Yes. Yeah. Arrested Development. You ever see Arrested Development?
My favorite comedy TV show ever.
You could never do. Those first 2 seasons first 3 seasons. You could never do that today. Never. People would have a.
Those first 3 seasons are gold.
George Michael, and the fact that they just don't call him George might be my favorite thing in the whole
George
show.
Michael.
George Michael. And I'm a huge what's the father's name?
George.
Oh yeah.
No, the actor.
Oh, Jeffrey Tambor.
No, I love him. Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman.
I'm a
If I-
huge.
if I-
I love him. Yeah.
I'm a
He's
huge
everything
Jason
he's in,
Bateman
he's great.
fan. Yeah, Ozark is excellent. I love all his movies, even though they don't do that well.
He's the same character. I feel like if you're the same character in all of your movies, that's who you are as a person.
Yeah,
Like De Niro.
Oh,
I'm going to get crucified for this. I don't think De Niro's a great actor. I think De Niro could be a great actor, but I think that's just him. They're like, all right, be you, and we're going to point a camera at you.
yeah.
And he's just this gangster dude from Brooklyn.
Mm.
But Jason Bateman's the same way. He's probably a really nice, awkwardly funny, cat.
Yeah, Paul Rudd's another sweetheart.
Rudd.
We have to. So we have 2 minutes left. We have a lot less than 2 minutes left because we're cheap and we don't pay for the premium Zoom. So Scott, what do you plug?
So subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is official Scott Bravo. You can follow me on social media at the Scott Bravo, and Spotify at Scott Danger Bravo, just to keep everything really, really confusing. I like to have separate, but Spotify's I got new music coming out, and I got a new video coming out on YouTube. So those two things are super, super important. The other stuff is just me being.
And your links will be in our description and all that
Down below.
Now I don't think I know when this is coming out. Do we know when this is coming out, Matthew? It might be this Wednesday. It might be next Wednesday. It might be the Wednesday after that. But it will be on a Wednesday, and we'll let you know.
Okay, great.
I'm trying to think. Oh, League Island Brewing Club. Their link will also be down. They're the sponsor of the pod. Great independent brewing company in Philadelphia. Made with love. It's Jesus' favorite beer. I know we got some other shit to say.
We have stuff too. Like and subscribe.
I guess we kind of just announced the gig. 325 at the Grape Room. Scott, next time we do this, let's do it in person. You
got it.
We just keep going until Zoom cuts us off automatically. Yeah. So now we can really go at it. John, I don't like the cut of your jib today.
One of my favorite phrases on earth. I love the cut of his jib.
I love that phrase. It's such
I knows what it is.
I was just talking to my mom about
it. Jib? Well, isn't it like
comes from pirate ships.